This episode of the Naperville Moms Network is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor Edgewood Clinical Services, providing comprehensive counseling and mental health services.
Welcome to the Naperville Moms Network. My name is Dr. Kathy Suber, and I'm joined again by Erica Lopez, Sarita Arellano, and Patty Minglin. This month we talk about one of every mom's favorite topics, sleep. Or should I say lack of it. Erica, you have the youngest kids of everyone. How's that going in your house?
It's not, it's not. And it's funny because it's not funny. When you are in your last trimester, a lot of times you're uncomfortable sleeping as a woman, right? And people say, it's preparing you for when you don't sleep at all. That is true. Or, you're newly pregnant. Get your sleep now, because you're not. And we make all these jokes and we talk about it, but at the end of the day, it's not funny. And my son didn't. I actually had to end up getting an outside resource to help me because he never slept through the night. And then he reached about 13, 14 months, and I searched for some outside help because I had tried everything. Yep. And a lack of sleep, meaning being woken up several times throughout the night, is a form of torture. And you turn into a different person. Mm-hmm. I mean, my husband is like, who are you?
Yeah.
I am someone who hasn't literally slept through the night in 13 months, 14 months, 15 months. And it's a struggle, and it's so real. And a lot of times, the responsibility lies on the woman because we're maybe nursing, and nourishing the child, or they just plain out want their mom. In my case, I was staying at home even past a maternity leave. So then there's that guilt of, my husband has to get up for work. I can stay in these stained PJs all day. Therefore, it's okay that I'm having to get up, every 2 hours. But it's not okay. And then you're not your best self and your best mom. So we joke about it, but it's really at the end of the day, you need to learn how to ask for help.
Yeah, I think it's so overwhelming, and like you said, you joke about it. People joke when you're pregnant, like, "Oh, get your sleep," all that stuff.
They're not kidding.
I don't think you really get it until you're in the middle of it. And I remember just being getting angry over things that I shouldn't be getting angry over, right? Some women then end up having some postpartum depression. And in my mind, when we sleep, that's when our bodies are healing. That's when our muscles are healing. That's when everything is being able to recalibrate for another new day. And when you don't get that full sleep, it really can affect you emotionally, physically, mentally. It's a tough thing.
Yeah, and I think asking for help is the perfect thing, because then they also say after you have a baby, well, when your baby's napping, that's when you should be napping, and that just doesn't always work out right.
Then who's going to do the cleaning?
Right. And so I think that, and we, for some reason, when we have babies, we feel like we should be able to do that all, and we should do it on less sleep than we were normally getting, and we can't. We're not functioning at our highest.
And have the perfect house, at the same time.
So asking for help, I think, is a really important thing, and asking for help so you can go take a nap is okay. That doesn't mean you're not doing as much work as somebody else. You need that for sure.
Right. I think that was the hardest part for my husband and me, becoming a new parent, realizing how lack of sleep affects you a lot. And in our case, we both were working full time, and I stayed home only for a month and had to go back from maternity leave. So we shared the nights, and to function the next morning at work, not feeling like a zombie, was really hard. So even if to this day, if you were to ask my husband, what was the hardest part about being a parent, he would say, that was really hard to adjust. You never adjust, and you never cope. So you have to find ways to either ask for help. For us, a big game changer was sleep training. So with our first child, we didn't know. So she didn't sleep through the night till probably at 5 months. And I remember going to some of the playgroup mom gatherings, and some moms would be, okay, my child slept through at 2 to 3 months. I'm like, what are they doing? Why isn't that happening for us? So when we had our second child, we started much earlier, and that really was a game changer. So the book that I loved was Healthy Sleeping Habits, Make a Happy Child. I probably should say Happy Parent as well. But even to this day, when I have to give a gift to a new parent, that is my go-to book. And recently, my daughter's dance coach at high school had a baby, and she's also a psychology teacher. So I gave her the book, and I was interested what her perspective would be. And 3 weeks later, I got a message, and she said, "Thank you so much." And that
We're
was
actually
a game
sleeping.
changer. So
Yeah.
sleep training your child early on is really important.
Not for everyone, though.
Not for everyone.
Because
Absolutely.
I read them all, and I
Yes.
read that when I read Happiest Baby on the Block, and I said, well, I have the unhappiest baby. For me, it was the second one. I did everything. I did. You can follow the books, but at the end of the day, each child is
It's
so
very different.
different.
Yes. Right.
And we see that, right? Where we raise them in the same way, and yet they turn out completely differently.
Right.
So, my daughter did, and then my son did not. Did not. And I would, follow every step and leave him alone. And even when I would talk to someone, an expert in the field, they would say, the older they get, the more stamina they have. So it is definitely easier to train them when they're younger, right?
Yeah.
3, 4, 5
Yeah.
months, because then at 18 months, they
Absolutely.
can cry for 4, 5 hours.
Yeah, it's a
and that
long
is
time.
normal. So, try listening to your kid cry for 4 hours. You can't even do 4 minutes, 40 minutes.
Right.
So it is.
I agree. As they get older, it's harder.
It's harder.
And you don't know any better, You're learning as you go, so.
Mine never got in my bed. I know I'd have friends who said, why don't you just let them sleep
right.
with you? Mine just never got out of bed. They just screamed for me to come, which is good because I never wanted to then replace one
Right.
unhealthy habit with another. So I just
Then have to go through that transition of like getting them out of your bed.
But then friends or even my parents would say, well, just let them sleep with you. You slept with us. It's fine. Yeah, but I already have one issue to deal with. Let's just figure it out. I want them in their bed, sleeping,
I have families that are patients of mine that they have co-slept forever, and that works for them, right?
Whatever works.
It really is, gosh, what works for me, what works for my child? How can we, in the beginning, just get some freaking sleep, because the long-term effects of sleep loss can travel into every single part of your life, as we've already talked about, And we all have little older kids, so, no one's waking up in the middle of the night, going, Mommy, I had a bad dream.
No, but I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news of older children, but as they get older, you're not going to be getting the full night's sleep either, because then it's other things, like when they first learn to drive.
Yes.
I could never even think about closing my eyes before they got home, and then when they go off to college, which I can't. They stay up way longer than I could possibly stay up. But it's like you wake up in the middle of the night thinking, what could it be?
Okay?
Or are they okay? Or if your phone rings and you automatically. So I don't even think now I am getting probably decent sleep. I mean, I don't have kids waking me up in the middle of the night, and I have a child that probably sleeps till noon during summer specifically, but I think that my body's still kind of back to being kind of listening for the cry. I think I'm still kind of listening for the phone to ring or what are they doing, and I don't think I'm still getting. I don't know when that's going to happen.
But that is a really good point.
I'm really concerned. My oldest is 22, and I'm still like,
when do I not worry anymore?
When do I not worry and actually sleep through the night?
I think once you become a mom, you never really go into deep sleep. You want to be asleep, but you want to be.
You gotta be like
sorry.
ready for anything.
Yes.
Well, with being divorced, my kids were, I think, 3 and 4, 4 and 5 when we got divorced, and I really struggled with. I'd wake up and they weren't there, and it was a really weird transition for me. And at some point, emotionally for me, I had to. Not say I don't care about them, of course. Of course I care about them the most. But when they weren't with me, I had to kind of turn off that internal worry all the time because if I was going to do that, I was going to drive myself nuts.
Right. Yeah.
And it was going to be all the time. Like, you're with them all the time, and now they're at college. But at the same time, when they're under your roof, you can go check on them if you want. I couldn't do that. So I kind of had to almost break off a little bit to keep my own sanity.
I think that's actually really healthy. I think that you need to, especially when they go off and be their own people, because you can't be worried about them every moment of the day, for
Right,
sure.
right. And you can control how much you let your mind worry about something, right? I mean, I talk to countless women that have problems falling asleep, staying asleep.
Yes.
I just downloaded an app on my phone that does meditation. And that's been really nice. You know, it kind of walks you through making your body feel more heavy and then making it feel lighter, and then you know, looking at the back of your eyes and picturing different things. And so even when I don't have that on, it's been a good tool for me to be able to fall asleep a little bit easier.
Right.
I love it. I mean, I try the meditation. I'm one of those that in yoga, they're like, and concentrate on this. And I'm thinking, and I've got 4 loads of laundry. Right. And did I make the lunch? And did I, you know, and it's hard. It's hard because we're constantly, it's a hamster wheel inside of our brains. But you know, my husband, I don't know if it's a gender thing, I'm just saying, in our relationship, he has no problem shutting it off. And I know that's true for a lot of my friends too.
Yes.
You know, and there's the picture of, I mean, I usually go to bed before him every night, and then he's up working. And yet I'm still awake 2 hours later when he gets to bed and he's snoring and I'm still not asleep. And I'm like, now I'm angry. And then an hour later, one of them has a bad dream and is waking. So then at what point? At what point are you going to sleep? And then one's waking you up at 5:30 and you look and you say, maybe 3-4 hours, you know, straight in a row. So one day. But you're saying no.
That's what I'm saying. I don't mean to be that. Well, but it is that turning your mind off. Like the meditation, I think is, and I have a hard time doing. I'm you. With the 4,000 things in my head, but that is what it is. It's turning your mind off and allowing your body to live into sleep and not try to fight it.
And sometimes just giving yourself some time. I know we've talked about naps before on this show, but every once in a while, your body just really is calling you to lay down and take a break. Whether it's a 20-minute close your eyes and just let your body rest, or really take a full-blown, you know, wipe the slobber off your mouth when you wake up, sleep. It's so good to refresh yourself that way. And I think sometimes we just think, oh, I don't have time for that.
Or we feel guilty.
Or feel guilty about it.
It's the guilt.
Yeah, it's all about the guilt. But we need to get past that and say, like, our bodies are a machine that need to be taken care of, right? We'd never say, oh, I don't have time to stop for gas for my car. Like, it just would stop working, right? So we almost have to take ourselves out of that guilt phase and say, we really need to take care of us so we can continue to take care of everyone else.
Yeah, and other cultures do it. I mean, I even see on my own block, you know, when someone has a baby, mom comes from another country and she's there for a year. When that year is up, the mother-in-law comes for a year. And, you know, there's the part in me, the American, who's going, well, good for you. You've got help 24/7. And well, wonderful. And maybe we should be adopting more of that. It takes a village, because clearly they've got something right, you know, that they're asking for that help.
There are
so
certainly some huge pros to that, you know. So I think sleep, we could really talk about sleep on and on. There's so many aspects of it that go into so many parts of our health and our happiness and raising a family. But the amount and quality of sleep you get changes as you go through different phases of parenting. We wish you all 9 straight hours tonight. We'll be right back with more of the Naperville Moms Network. Stay tuned.